All right, Larry Krueger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er video as we recap everything that happened on Sunday, including the 49ers getting a big win in the Big Easy. Now, we are taping this on late on a Sunday night after a big-time night out in the French Quarter. So thanks to Kev and JD for a great night. We went to Cochon, had a fantastic dinner, had some drinks in the quarter, and just got back to the Airbnb. So we're going to do a little breakdown here on the Niner game, and go through it a little bit. Of course, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. So get there early, get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. All right, let's talk a little bit about this one. The Niners go to 2-0 with a 26-21 win over the Saints. Now, not to take anything away from the 49ers, but I thought the Saints were sloppy. Chris Olave dropped a first-half touchdown, would have changed the game. The Saints came out and looked really sloppy. They had 4 or 5 penalties in the first quarter, and, they just the better team won. 49ers are playing at a better caliber of ball right now than the Saints. And 49ers are also more talented, even with their backup quarterback. Mac Jones was pretty strong, threw for 3 touchdowns, didn't throw an interception, only turned over the ball 1 time. I think that was the big fear. I think my first primary fear in this game was that Trent Williams, who did not practice all week, would be unable to go, and the Niners would be forced to go with Spencer Burford. And I really thought Carl Granderson would absolutely eat Burford's lunch. And I think we got enough indication in the game that Granderson is playing at a really high level. So if you didn't see it firsthand for yourself, you weren't watching close enough. But Carl Granderson's a hell of a player. Now, Spencer Burford did not play. It was Trent Williams, the left tackle, and that made all the difference in the world. So I thought that was a major factor. Christian McCaffrey had another solid game. Mac Jones had a more than solid game. The biggest play in the game was the Fred Warner punch out on a turnover that they originally ruled as down by contact. And instead they ruled it that the receiver was not down by contact and awarded the 49ers the football. And then the Niners quickly moved down the field, and Mac Jones found Jawan Jennings, and all of a sudden the Niners were up multiple scores, and it was 26-14, and it was all over except for the crying, as they say. 26-21. Niners go to 2-0, and it was a good win. It really was a good win. It was a good win on a lot of fronts. McCaffrey had a strong game. Jones had a strong game. Jawan Jennings, really came alive in the second half. Ricky Pearsall really played well. Mikael Williams had his best game. Fred Warner was all over the place. Fred Warner had 11 tackles. 7 of them were solo. He really was fantastic. Nick Bosa had a sack, had a tackle for a loss. He looked very much like the great Nick Bosa. And even though Eddie Dinero Pinheiro missed a PAT, he did make a couple field goals, and he gave kind of the Niners back a little bit of their swagger that they had lost because of the struggles of Jake Moody. So overall, good win. Good win for the 49ers. They got back on the bird. They went home, and now they're prepared for the home opener Sunday against the Arizona Cardinals. Brock Purdy's not expected to go in that game, so it will be more of Mac Jones, McCorkle Jones. And let's hear from Kyle Shanahan. We heard from Kyle Shanahan after the game, and he had this to say about his new starting quarterback, at least for the moment, Mac Jones. Here's Kyle.
I thought Mac played real well. We had a number of things we had to change up. It was a big deal losing Juice there early in the game, especially with Kittle out, just the stuff we had to do with other tight ends. So we were scrambling there for a little bit, trying to figure some things out. Thought he handled the situation well. Thought he delivered the ball real well. Obviously wouldn't like to have that fumble back. Hopefully we can get rid of it a little earlier. It didn't look like anyone was really open, though. But I thought he did a hell of a job.
There you go. A little bit of Kyle Shanahan on Mac Jones. And, you could nitpick the sack that he took and the fumble. And obviously, Kyle is doing just that. But I think overall, he's got to be really pleased. I mean, he didn't throw interceptions. He played on time. He made some plays down the field. He threw the ball with touch and timing. It seemed like the team responded well to him. And he was pretty clean on the stat sheet overall. So big win for Mac Jones. His first game as a Niners starting quarterback. I mean, the one thing about Mac Jones is that he totally understands where he's at. He understands that it wasn't that long ago. He was the first round pick. He was the 15th pick overall in the first round by the New England Patriots. He was a great player at Alabama. He was an All-American, All-SEC player his final year at Bama. And he understands that you don't get a million chances in the NFL, and he's got to make the most of his next chances. If he wants to stick around, it's time for him to produce. And I think he showed up this summer with the 49ers, just really intent on showing us what he's got and, fulfilling his potential. The thing about a guy like Mac Jones is he's processes what he sees. He's accurate. He's on time. He knows what to do with the ball and where to go with the ball. I thought one of the more interesting revelations of the offseason was when Mac told us in the spring that between mini camp and training camp, that he actually put on pads and practiced his drops and going through the offense, play by play, training in the heat of the Florida summer there in Jacksonville, wearing full pads. And, that told me, at least it painted a picture of a guy who really cares about being good, a guy who really badly wants to be good, and a guy who's going to put himself in uncomfortable situations to ensure that he's good. So I thought that was a little glimpse into the preparation and maybe the football soul of Mac Jones. And, I think he looks like a guy who really wants it. He looks like a guy who's really willing to work for it. And he looked good. He looked good tonight. I mean, to go on the road, I think they were 8 of 15 or something like that from third down conversions. For the most part, he kept his offense on the field. He kept the chains moving, and the 49ers get a win in week 2 here in New Orleans over the Saints. So there you go. A little bit of Kyle Shanahan on Mac Jones. Now let's hear from Fred Warner on the 49er defense. Fred Warner, I thought, was really awesome in this game. 11 tackles, a bunch of solo tackles. It just seemed like he had all the swagger and then some. And he's a leader. He's a leader. So, guys respond to him and his energy in the pregame. And, when he came out and was like, hey, you know what, we're getting this done. And he was just so very confident about it. I think the rest of the defense followed his lead. And Fred Warner talked a little bit today in the post game about the San Francisco defense. It's a work in progress, but he's liking it.
Yeah, I mean, we got talent all over the field, man. It's about everybody just doing their 111, dominating their one-on-one. And in those moments, obviously it's just about even more so just being so dialed in on your one-on-one and dominating that. And you got closers like Nick Bosa and Bryce Huff and all these guys. We're only going to continue to get better. So excited.
There you go. A little bit of Fred Warner talking about this defense. And I'll say this. I thought it's a rush and cover game on defense in the NFL. It's really 2 games within one, right? It's what kind of rush can you put on the quarterback up front? And you're trying to get that done if you can with 3 guys. Drop 8 into coverage. That's your ideal pass rush is you rush 3, you drop 8. The Niners will rush 4, they'll drop 7. At times they'll rush 5, they'll drop 6. At times they'll rush 6, they'll drop 5. They'll mix it up. And this defense has got playmakers on all 3 levels. I think you added new quality young players on all 3 levels. Siegel and Stout on the back end, McKell, West, Collins up front, Nick Martin on that second level. This is a really good defense on a lot of levels. And it was great to see them play at a really high level. And it was great to see McKell play at a very high level. McKell Williams is one of the highest draft picks the 49er regime has ever made. They need him to perform like a guy picked in the top half of round 1 would perform. So anyway, was always good to hear from Fred talking about the Niner defense. Next, we have Kyle Shanahan on Brock Purdy. And here's what Shanahan had to say about the status of Purdy. Is he going to be out a week? Is it going to be 2? Is it going to be longer? Here's what Shanahan had to say about Purdy's status after the game.
Yes.
Is Brock making enough progress where he has a chance to play next Sunday, or do you think it'll still be the next show?
I think there's a chance, but we got to see how the toe goes. It's very up to debate, and so we're just taking a day at a time. Yes.
There you go. Day at a time for Brock Purdy, and it sounds like he's going to miss next week as well against Arizona. Now, I look at this as an opportunity. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, it's the worst thing ever. Brock Purdy's hardly missed any games. I think he has 2 missed starts in his career now. His durability, I don't think, is called into question at all. But at the same time, you know what? You want to get to the playoffs with a healthy CMC, a healthy Brock Purdy. You want to make sure that you're fully healthy when the playoffs roll around. And if that means that there's a 4 or 5 game stretch early in the year, in the middle part of the year, where you don't use Brock Purdy, that you wind up using Mac Jones, or you don't use, some of your starters and you wind up using backups, I think that's totally fine. And in an ideal world, Brock would be ready to roll next week. But you know what? The 49ers, it's not about winding up with a great record. It's not about winding up with the best regular season record or having some great accomplishment in September. It's about what do you do in December and January. Those are the months where championships get decided. December, January, early February. That's where the Super Bowl is played. That's when the Super Bowl is played. And I think at that point, you're going to have a much better idea of what kind of year this is going to be for this team. But I think overall, there's good vibes around the 49ers. They look refreshed, rejuvenated, and ready for the 2025 season. Now, we went into the locker room afterwards, and it's always a little difficult in the locker room because there's tons of humidity, it's tons of sweat, the tight quarters, all kinds of media, players shoulder to shoulder, everybody's in a rush. The writers are on deadline. Everybody's got a show to run to and get to. The players are trying desperately to get out with their bags on the bus. And, the team takes off, 90 minutes after the last play of the game. They're taking off, on the bird going back to San Francisco. So had a chance to catch up with Ricky Pearsall in the locker room as part of kind of a group powwow. And here's what Ricky Pearsall had to say about this win.
It seemed like you're really comfortable on some of those corner routes, whether it be Brock or Mac, just kind of dropping it in the bucket there, almost like a little bit of a touch pass, almost like you and them are on the same page. How many reps does that take to kind of get comfortable with that route?
As many as possible.
Yeah.
I feel like you can never be too comfortable, so we got to still keep on repping it, keeping that timing down. But it's our bread and butter right now, so it's really good to see that the work that we're putting in is playing out like that. I might have been talking to Russ. I can't remember who was next to me, or it might have been actually KB.
Okay.
One of them two.
You guys came out. I thought you guys would come out running it, but man, you came out throwing it. What did you think of the plan today?
I mean, I always like when you come out throwing the ball.
Yeah.
I'm a White House, so I love it. Yeah.
What'd you think? I mean, this was a game. A lot of people thought maybe this would be a fallback game, but you guys really brought some intensity.
No, for sure. I mean, it's never a fallback game in this league. You always got to be 10 toes down when you're playing in this league. It's the best of the best, so you got to come with it each and every week.
Does it feel better when you can win games in the NFL with 2 different quarterbacks?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I feel like that just goes back to just having a really good overall team. When we came in here, we brought it up. We were talking about how we hit on all cylinders as far as special teams. We did a really good job. Our defense and our offense scored when we needed to. So, it's definitely a relief when you have that.
I went and saw your Gators last night. It was a big Tiger party. But obviously you saved the trip with the win today.
Yeah, it was tough watching that game for sure. I'm still watching, cheering them on, but it's hard when it goes that way. But at least we got a dub here. So
what's your flight routine? Will you watch some film? Will you just eat and chill? What do you like to do on the ride home?
I like to enjoy the win, man. I like to enjoy the win. I save the film for later. I think when you get a win like this, it's hard to get a win in the league, so you got to enjoy it each and every time. So get on the plane and enjoying the guys, play some card games against them, and then just vibe out.
There you go. A little bit of dialogue there with Ricky Pearsall. And as you guys can tell, I mean, Ricky Pearsall is a really easy to like guy. He's down to earth. He looks you in the eye. He gives you a heartfelt answer. I really think highly of Ricky Pearsall. The one thing I love about Ricky Pearsall is as hard as a guy like me would be on a guy like Pearsall, because I'm hard on guys who don't perform, and he's struggled at times. It's nice knowing that he himself is harder on himself than any of us could be on him. Any criticism that I would throw his way, whatever. I mean, he's probably, quite a bit more self-critical of what he's doing and not doing on the field than anything I would muster. So that makes me feel good about him as a competitor, makes me feel good about him as kind of a durable emotional figure. But you know what? The bottom line is you just got to get open and you got to make catches in the NFL. And if you do that, you're going to be great. You can make lots of money and things are going to work out. If you don't do that, they're going to draft other guys. They're going to sign other guys. Other guys are going to show up for workouts. And then eventually they're going to sign one or two of those guys and replace you with them. So, it was great to have, great to talk to Ricky and, always good to rap with him. And I always feel like we have good conversations. All right, let's hear from Dom Puni. I saw Dom sitting at his locker by himself. And, I wanted to ask him a little bit about what he thought of Mac Jones and what he thinks overall of Mac Jones. So here's a little conversation with me and Big Dom Puni, the Niners offensive guard.
All right, we're here in the Niner locker room after another win. You guys got the 2-0. What'd you think? Give me your impressions of this one.
It was another gritty away win, a tough stadium to play. I was saying to open the season 2-0 in Seattle, hard place to play. In the Superdome, hard place to play. No matter who it's against, it's a hard task to do. So I'm super happy with how we played. And, last year we were ending up on the wrong side of these games. And now this year, it's 2 games in a row, we ended up finishing. So, I think we're taking the right step.
What'd you think of the plan? I mean, it seemed like I thought you guys would come out and run it, but you came out throwing. What'd you think of the game plan?
We think Mac can throw the ball, so we're going to let him throw.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a quarterback. So, we might as well just let him do what he does. The more he got comfortable within the game, the more he just started spinning it. So
What was he like out there? Well, coming in the huddles.
Same as always. Yeah, same as always. Gets to the huddle, gets everybody in, calls the play. He was super loud out there. I have no complaints, man. He's a real deal.
Does it feel good to have 2 starting quarterbacks that you guys feel like you can win games with?
I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Before this game, I was like, glad we have Mac Jones at least.
Yeah.
13 obviously is the most amazing quarterback. But if you're gonna have a backup, Mac Jones is a hell of an option.
Did you feel his confidence grow as the game went on?
Yeah. I think after the first quarter, I think he just started getting comfortable in the pocket, comfortable with the reads. It's to be expected. Man played in the game in a while. So, as an O-line, we just knew just try and give him as much time as possible. But he was getting the ball real quick in the third, fourth, second quarter. So it was good.
Barch went down and Colby came in. It seemed like you guys didn't miss a beat. He seems like he's pretty up to speed on things, huh?
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. In camp, he's been like that. He doesn't really mess up a lot. He's in camp. He's just always sharp on what he's got to do. He answers every question right. I'm so proud of him. Like, he got his opportunity to seize there. Like, now he knows he can play in the league. And once you get over that hump, it's a big momentum push for him. So I hope he just keeps building on it.
All right, there you go. A little bit of Dom Puni, and I loved what he said about Connor Colby. And I loved what he said. He's like, hey, I was thinking, hey, we do have 2 quarterbacks we can win with, and it's really nice to have Mac Jones. Mac Jones is definitely a luxury. I also think Connor Colby is going to step in at guard for Ben Barch, and I don't think Connor Colby is going to look back. I think Colby looks fantastic as both a run blocker and a pass blocker, and I just don't think Ben Barch is going to wind up getting that job back. I think Barch will miss some time. Colby will get some time. And then my guess is that the Niners are just going to go with Connor Colby at guard going forward. All right, let's hear from Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson, if there's one guy that, we haven't seen get going yet, it's Brian Robinson. I caught up with him in the locker room after the game.
All right, we're in the Niner locker room with Brian Robinson, and you guys got another grimy, tough, grounded out kind of a win. Give me your thoughts on the win, man.
Man, it's football, man. You gotta respect every minute, every second of the game, and we just been trying to establish, what type of team, we want to be. And I think, these last 2 weeks have really shown us, we got a hard fighting team that don't never give up, and we'll play to the last second. And that was one type of win we got today.
Yeah, it was a good one too. What do you think of Mac Jones as far as command of the huddle and just being the vocal leader, stepping in and kind of leading you guys?
I think Matt did an excellent job. I'm not really surprised. I'm familiar with his game and how he approaches his business. So I think he did an excellent job today, for stepping up and being the leader today. He did a great job and reflecting in the win.
They seem like they're using you on the toss play quite a bit. Is that something like a play that you're real comfortable running the toss?
I pretty much just do, whatever they coach me to do. They don't really specify like what they want me to do specifically, and I just prepare anything they call for me, I just be ready for it. It's not one play or the other that I'm comfortable with. I'm trying to get comfortable with the whole entire playbook, and I want them to be able to trust me with the whole entire playbook.
You had a play in the second quarter where, man, you were one tackle away, I thought, from a house call. Did you see that kind of opening up for you? Yeah, it was like real close.
Yeah, and I expect to get closer and closer before I pop with the big one. And I've been telling guys, I feel everything's just getting comfortable with this offense and with the guys I'm playing with. And I feel those gaps and spaces opening up for me, and I just expect it to just continue to get bigger and bigger.
You played at Bama. Bama fans are everywhere. Niner fans are everywhere. What's it like playing in a house like this when you got so much red, so many Niner fans? I mean, Niners travel. The fans travel here, man.
It's amazing, honestly, to see how dedicated the fans are to come all the way out this way and support us the way they did, and fill up half of the stands with red shirts. And we couldn't be more thankful for that type of energy. And that's the fuel that help us win games.
Last one for you, man. Have a great flight, but what will be your routine on this flight? Do you want to watch the film? Do you get it on the flight, or do you just eat and rest and watch the film later?
I'm definitely going to watch the film just so I can kind of see what happened in the game and put it behind me. And then I'm going to hang out and chill with the guys.
Yeah, have a great night, man. Thanks, man.
There you go. A little B-Rob, Brian Robinson, who had 6 carries for 20 yards, 3-3 a carry. His longest rush was 7 yards. He almost busted one. I mean, I was watching on the Binocs, and he got a run early in this game where he was really, really close to, busting an explosive run. So, he's getting close. They used him a lot on the toss play, and I wonder if that's because that's just what they want to do, or if that's a play that he likes. He kind of downplayed it, but Brian Robinson's going to be a major factor before it's all said and done. I mean, he's physical. He runs upright, so he's going to take some hits. But, man, this guy's a good football player. And I think he's really going to help the 49ers as the season goes along. You can never have enough proven NFL running backs that can run for those tough yards, those grimy yards that are so hard to get. And Brian Robinson is that guy. And it was great to see him play tonight, and it would be great to see him kind of really get it rolling. He hasn't quite been able to really hit stride and get into a rhythm. When he does, watch out, because Robinson's going to be really, really good. All right, before we get out of here, let's get a word from our sponsor. We are brought to you by our good friends at Sleeper. That's right, we're brought to you by Sleeper. Thanks to Sleeper for sponsoring the Krug Show. This 49er football season is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chats, season-long leagues, and, of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use the promo code Larry, and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. The link is in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. And thanks to Sleeper for being a proud sponsor of the Krug Show. Thanks to Sleeper. Thanks to Pig and a Pickle. Thanks to all of you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.